Hi everybody, we're back. We have another Dystopian Wars battle report for you guys. We're going to go over our board here. First of all, we have our 4x6 board. We're playing 1,000 points and just kind of walking over our terrain. We have our board over here. We have a whole bunch of large islands in the center. Those are land, so they're impossible. They're impassable. And then we have our various little pools here of treacherous waters. So those are impassable to submerged vessels, and small ships ignore them, and medium and capital class ships risk a collision if they move more than half speed. So it kind of gives a lot of interesting little tactical conundrums over here. And we're playing 1,000 points. We have BushidoRedPanda. Again, he is using Empire of the Blazing Sun, and we have the Dread Pirate Scrimshaw. Say hi.
Hey guys.
Yeah, someone went to a concert last night, so
he not be talking very much in this battle report.
So we're gonna make him talk as much as possible.
Thank you.
All right. So, Bushido, let's go over your 1,000-point fleet. What do we got?
All right, I've got a Sky Fortress with 3 squadrons of fighters flying cap.
All right.
I've got a Dreadnought.
See him under there. There's the Dreadnought.
I've got a squadron of torpedo bombers.
All right.
I've got a Heavy Walker with 3 squadrons of fighters flying cap.
Okay.
I've got an Ika.
All right.
I've got 2 heavy destroyers, another squadron of torpedo bombers, and 2 squadrons of destroyers.
All right. Those are the missile boats. I mean the rocket boats. All right. What do we have?
So we've got a Blucher class dreadnought.
Okay. So that's the big bad boy.
Yep. A unit of Reaver class cruisers.
All right. There's 3 of those.
2 units of Arminius frigates with 4 each.
Okay. 1 and then 4 back there. Line of stern. Okay.
A unit of Stoltz destroyers right there in the middle.
It's these
next
3?
to that. Yep. Next to that Emperor class battleship.
Okay.
And then 2 units of torpedo bombers.
All right. So what's the cunning plan?
The cunning plan is to blow away the Ika with the torpedo bombers and then close and board with everything else.
All right, so standard Prussian. Get in there as close as possible, as fast as possible. What's the plan?
Kill the Dreadnought.
All right, kill the Dreadnought.
Simple as best.
Nice and simple. We'll get back to you guys at the top of 1. All right, we're at the top of 1. Both sides have done 4 of their activations, so 4 units have moved around. It is turn 1, so it's just normally in Dystopian Wars you're going to get a lot of jockeying for position. There's not going to be a lot of killing or anything, and that's pretty much what we've seen over here. We've seen Scrimshaw's lead elements, including that dreadnought, have moved up. They've taken this battleship over there. Has put a point of damage on one of these destroyers. The gunboats have moved up. They took some long-range torpedo shots at those cruisers over there for no effect. And about the only thing of note that has happened so far is both squadrons of rocket destroyers have moved up into the treacherous waters over here, and they both unleashed full salvos on those frigates, destroying one of them and breaking the squadron. It is currently broken right now. And what does breaking do?
You can no longer leak fire, so they have to shoot separately.
Okay, so they can't link fire, and that's all we got so far. We'll see what the end of turn 1 looks like. All right, we're back, and it is the bottom 1, so it is all over. The rest of the Blazing Sun fleet has moved up. You can see they're kind of getting the dreadnoughts getting ready to pass through those little narrows over there. All the squadrons are passing over the large plateau, and the entire Prussian fleet is just moving up and around slowly, headed towards that big chunk of open water between the 2 areas of treacherous ground. So this is looking like there's going to be the big fight right in here. The squadron of frigates that was broken moved up. They failed to pass their break test, so they continue to be broken. So they're going to be not the greatest shooters next turn. And the only thing shooting-wise that happened was the Blazing Sun Large Walker got fired away with everything on that lead cruiser back there, and successfully caused a critical on it, which didn't really do anything to it. So we will get back to you at the top of 2. All right, we are early in turn 2, and we wanted to stop and to show you a big attack that's going to be important And Scrimshaw, take us through what is happening. It is your Dreadnought's activation.
Yes, it's my Dreadnought. And my Dreadnought has 4 main turrets, and forgive me for not actually having them with me. But I'm going to split the turrets up into 2 shooting at this lead cruiser, 2 shooting at the rear cruiser. And that's going to give me a total of 16 dice each, because they get 11 shots in range band 1.
Okay.
And then half of that rounded down is 5 for the linking. And then I also have Port Tesla secondaries to shoot. They're going to shoot at this guy right here.
Okay.
So, first things first, forward turret shooting at the lead cruiser.
And you're going to hit on what?
I hit on 5s and 6s because they are primary weapons shooting in range band 1.
Right.
And it looks like I didn't do terribly well. Only 5.
Point of damage.
So 5. So that was 1 point of damage. Did not achieve a critical. That gunship.
Now my rear turret shooting at the second one.
All right.
Same number of dice. 1 range band 1. Maybe a little bit better.
There are some 6s in there. So those 3 6s explode. Let's see what happens with those.
Nothing more.
Still a crit.
A crit? Okay.
So that is a grand total of that's 3 6s and 2 5s. So that is 8 points of damage, which causes a crit to the second gunship.
And the result is a 4. Which
Fire.
Fire. Cool.
Yeah.
So it takes 2 points of damage and is on fire.
It loses 2 points of damage, loses 2 AP, and gets a fire token, which does nothing, so we're not even going to bother doing it.
All right. And
then the Tesla.
Yeah.
Tesla is 8 dice at range band 1.
Okay, so a smaller number of dice, but these hit on a 4 5 6 because they're not primary.
Because they're secondary weapons. And Prussian Tesla, well, this model has the lethal strike rule, so anytime I do a point, if I do any kind of damage to it, he will also lose 1 assault point.
Okay. So
Very
it
succinct.
kills crew effectively.
So, a point of damage.
Yep.
And that is all of its shooting, because this guy doesn't have a target to shoot at.
Yeah. Its big giant forward Tesla unfortunately has no targets directly in front of it. And there we go. That is an attack. So we will talk to you guys in a little bit. Okay, we're at the top of 2. You just saw the Dreadnought fire earlier on that squadron of gunships, damaging both of them. What's happened? A few more activations have gone on, and this pack of those destroyers.
Yeah, there's destroyers.
These destroyers moved up and laid into the closest one and sunk it. Over here, we have a big scrum is taking place. A squadron of Prussian frigates has moved up to pretty much point-blank range on those Blazing Sun rocket destroyers, and this second squadron of rocket destroyers moved over and kind of ended up in this interesting pattern here, so that they can, so that they all laid in on this rear cruiser, did some pretty serious damage to it, and at the very start of the turn, what you missed was that those gunships, before they were destroyed, they laid everything into the lead. There was 1, 2, 3, was a lead cruiser there, and that cruiser was completely destroyed. And that's where we are, and we still have half the turn to go. Alright, we're at the bottom of 2. It's a continuation of what we saw last time. The big thing that happened is right here. This is a squadron of torpedo bombers. They were up there, they swept down, skimming the waves, and they put a full salvo of torpedoes into the Prussian Dreadnought, giving it a critical, which had what effect?
It was caught on fire, so it lost 2 assault points.
Okay, and that fire's now out.
Yeah, as soon as it loses the AP, it's done.
So there was that, and other than that, there was just kind of a lot of minor maneuvering over here. One of these, the Prussians sunk one of those 4 rocket destroyers over here,
And one of the other ones.
and one of this squadron of 4, the one that should have been right there, has also been lost, and that is about it. But we are going to be headed into 3, and as you can tell here, 3 is going to be a really, really bloody turn right here in this whole central area now. Everything is converging on it. There's the 1 crippled gunship left. The Blazing Sun Heavy Walker is just sitting right there. The Ika is sitting right there. There are 1, 2, 3 more squadrons of aircraft are over here, and on the Prussian side, 2 full squadrons of torpedo bombers are also waiting. So we'll get back to you at the top of 3, and it looks like it's going to be a good one. Alright, we're back at the top of 3, and it has been, as promised, a pretty good one. Over here, the first thing that happened was the surviving Blazing Sun gunship that was right here. It swung around and placed itself exactly in front of the Prussian dreadnought, to force it to either wait or
it's gonna
ram it. So he's kind of in a tough decision there. The Prussian dreadnought has not moved yet, so it has been holding off to while other vessels could see whether or not they could take the gunship down, which they have not been able to. The big thing, however, was start with the small guys way over here. The 2 Blazing Sun squadrons of rocket destroyers both laid into. There was a 3-ship squadron of destroyers. Two of them were sunk in treacherous waters. One of them, the one surviving one, however, made its way up, and with a one die boarding action over the Ika, successfully boarded the Walker, and they didn't capture it or anything, but they did do 3 crew points of damage to it, which is pretty good for such a kind of Hail Mary boarding action there. On Blazing Sun side, 2 full squadron, 2 more squadrons of torpedo bombers came. Sorry, 1 squadron of torpedo bombers came in, attempting to hurt the dreadnought, and a really amazingly lucky round of anti-aircraft fire shot down 3 of them before they could do anything. And over here, directly behind them, 2 full squadrons of Prussian torpedo bombers came in, and each of them did a critical to the Ika that's lurking there, doing 4 points of damage to it of its 6, I believe. So it's in fairly bad shape over there. And that is where we sit, headed into the bottom of 3, and we're going to wait and see what that Prussian dreadnought does. It's kind of in a weird, tough situation there. Alright, we're back, bottom of 3. It's continuing to be pretty eventful. Over here, the Prussian dreadnought slammed ahead, had a collision with that cruiser, caused the Blazing Sun gunship, caused a critical. It is still not dead. They're both right there. Fire backwards and forwards from most of the medium ships are just starting to go away. There's one last rocket destroyer over there of that original group of 4. Over here, this group is still down to 3. That last Prussian cruiser that did that amazing boarding operation on the heavy Walker last turn is no longer with us. But absolutely the big thing of the turn was in the last activation of the turn. Over here, those turrets sticking out of the water. That was a completely intact Prussian battleship, the
Frau Blucher.
The Frau Blucher, who sailed forth, did a whole lot of killing
of nothing, really. You killed a couple destroyers, and that's about it.
Killed a couple destroyers, and then way over there from range band 4, a rocket attack from the Blazing Sun dreadnought flew all the way over, hit her, caused a critical. Rolled snake eyes and magazine explosion, and she is gone in one just amazingly lucky shot. One rocket straight down, boom, and so there goes a perfectly intact battleship to the bottom. And we'll pick it up at the top of 4. All right, it's turn 4. Both of these guys have a small enough number of units that we're not doing midterm updates now, and it's. Times are looking dark for the Prussian fleet. The good news for them is that Combined Fire finally destroyed the last Blazing Sun gunship that was sitting right in front of the dreadnought. We destroyed it, so he now has clear shots. Unfortunately, it's so damaged that even with clear shots, it's just not. It was trying to take shots at the Ika, which you notice is now not submerged anymore. But he was. It's just so damaged that it couldn't even harm it. The Ika, however, as you can see, has come up. It came up, attacked the Prussian cruiser that was right in front of it and tore it apart, and it is gone. There was another one behind it that was also destroyed, and then there was some smaller ships over here that were lost as well. On the Blazing Sun side, we still have that 3 ship squadron of destroyers. They're way over here. The last one that was over here has scooted along behind the island, and in this just huge scrum here, there's just fighter squadrons all over the place. One of them has been picked up by the flying carrier, which is kind of swinging around to avoid being within boarding range of that of the Prussian dreadnought, because while it is incredibly damaged, it's still loaded with Marines and is a very, very effective boarding platform at this point. But we'll be going into turn 5, and there's a whole lot of Blazing Sun on the board and not a whole lot of Empire of Prussia.
5, sure.
Alright, it's turn 5, and the situation continues to degrade. Looks like Prussia's not going to be able to pull
the term
to pull this one out.
Is defeat in detail.
That is the term. The Blazing Sun Heavy Walker it sat there, and all of its once again knees of fury. It used a combination of all of its guns to knock out all 4 of the remaining Prussian frigates. 2 on that side, 2 on this side. What was left of their air force has been engaged by the other Blazing Sun tiny flyers. They're destroyed now, so it is all to its lonesome. It is facing down an Ika. It was all stopped. It's not, so next turn it's going to be able to move, and it looks like it's just a matter of time. What is your it looks like the Prussian admiral is he's going to go down, but before he goes down, what do you want to do?
I want to kill the Ika. It's going to die.
All right, we'll see if he can do that before he meets his watery grave. Alright, it's the end of turn 6, and it is over. Well, technically it's not over, but it's over.
It's done. It is complete.
It is over. So, the Ika was rammed, it was destroyed, it is no longer with us. Then there was a boarding attempt. The Prussian dreadnought wanted to go out in a blaze of glory. It rammed the Ika, sank it. It tried to do a boarding attempt against the carrier. Its 2 remaining Marines were shot down. So it is sitting in the water. It has 1 point of damage left. It has no Marines on board, which means pretty much if the moment any of these relatively intact Prussian vessels pull up alongside it, if they have any Marines left, which several of them do, they're going to take it as a prize. And it is effectively dead in the water as a burning hulk, although technically still under control. But that is where we end the game, and we'll talk to our contestants, our players here. All right, what do you think? How'd it go?
This was a super fun game. As soon as my battleship got critted out of the water, it was pretty much over unless I got really lucky, and obviously I didn't. But it still was a lot of fun. I can't think him getting in the way of my dreadnought and forcing me to ram and come to full stop.
Yep.
For effectively 2 turns really threw a crimp into things because I couldn't use my 10 assault points on that dreadnought to get in close and board with anything, and it gave him enough time to pick it to pieces and get my guns down to the point where I couldn't do anything with it anymore but board.
Right, exactly.
So that pretty much, between the battleship going and the dreadnought coming to a stop, pretty much handled my fleet for me.
Right. Bushido, Blazing Sun?
For me, my plan worked perfectly against the dreadnought. I basically planned to just kind of pick it down to pieces and stop it. I was really worried about that battleship, and I got real lucky and took it out in 1 volley. That was really the key to the game. Just not really a whole lot else to say.
All right, there you go, guys. Dystopian War, and we will talk to you next time.